Despite dying at the end of the last game, you are once again cast as Darth Vader's secret apprentice, Starkiller, but with a twist: you might be a clone. Vader insists you are, explaining how his many prior attempts all ended in grisly failure. But you and many others aren't so sure. With flashbacks indicating that something isn't right, you flee from the Dark Master in an attempt to find out the truth. Starkiller is a pretty badass warrior, highly skilled with his dual lightsabers and adept with the Force. This makes him more than a match for whatever Vader throws at him over the course of the 5 or so hour adventure. Combat with your saber is quite basic, with just a single button handling strikes. But you can combo this with the Force push and lightning attacks, while well-timed blocks will repel projectiles back at enemies. It's no Bayonetta in terms of combat depth, but it's good fun and importantly, it looks spectacular. Another offensive option is using the environment. This can simply be pushing a trooper off the edge of a platform to his death, or lobbing an explosive barrel into a group of foes. Takedowns can be performed when up close, and larger enemies can be downed with successful QTE button presses. As was the way in the previous game, your general stats and abilities can be upgraded through experience points, meaning that by the end you're extremely powerful. In an attempt to spice up combat, certain enemies are immune to force attacks, while others can only be beaten once hit by a certain strike. Minute-to-minute gameplay in Force Unleashed 2 is good solid fun, with the use of force powers never becoming tiresome even after you've flung a stormtrooper off a platform for the 50th time. Not so brilliant are the various large boss encounters. Usually boss fights are highlights in hack and slash games, but they feel laboured, unimaginative and sorely lacking in combat variety. Thankfully, the snipers from the original game have been toned down considerably, meaning that there's far less frustration while moving through levels. What isn't so great are poorly placed checkpoints which force you to replay large chunks over and over again from scratch, and an awkward target lock-on system which frequently causes camera issues. It's impossible to overlook the brevity of the experience too. At around 5 hours, maybe even less for skilled gamers, it's considerably shorter than its predecessor and worse for it. The Force Unleashed 2 rushes so quickly to its finale that it seems like it's over before it's even got started. What can't be faulted is presentation. On Xbox 360 and PS3, The Force Unleashed 2 is a beautiful game, sporting some of the most impressive motion blur and rain effects we've seen.
They'll do.
Starkiller is a genuinely interesting and dangerously character, and we were excited to see how he evolved and the story advanced in the highly anticipated sequel. That excitement has sadly been extinguished by a fairly insipid follow-up that does nothing to expand on and improve the original.